What's up, guys? Welcome back to Cash Money MMA. Today, I'll be breaking down the notorious Conor McGregor and his whole entire situation with the UFC. You know, a lot of fans are wondering when Conor McGregor will fight. Will he ever fight again? So today, we'll go ahead and break that down. To me personally, I feel like it's more than just, Conor McGregor being on drugs or anything like that. I feel like Conor McGregor seriously does want to fight again, but I feel like there's a lot of business deals behind the scenes that's holding him back from fighting. And I feel like the UFC kind of is holding Conor hostage here because they know how much worth he is, and that if he does do another fight, it will potentially sell a million or more buys. So, he's a big player for the UFC. The UFC also has a upcoming TV deal, which I would like to go ahead and get into. The UFC's current broadcast deal with the ESPN runs through 2025. When the promotion inks a new deal, fans could see a big change in how they watch fights. So obviously the UFC is going to have a lot of suitors in terms of, Netflix is getting into the fight game with their Mike Tyson fight. Amazon is in the sports game now with their live sports and NFL. So I definitely see the UFC having a lot of options in terms of who they can go through, or they could just sign back with ESPN. So, and I feel like Conor McGregor is a big negotiating tool for the UFC because the UFC's net worth is directly tied to fighters under contract. So having guys like John Jones, Israel Adesanya, Conor McGregor, having those big names under your contract increases their net worth, which means that they're able to kind of, show that to any potential TV deals and any other company that's trying to stream their services. And I feel like that's exactly why Conor McGregor hasn't fought yet. Their TV deal ends in 2025, which is next year. Conor McGregor and the UFC just said, that it's probably going to be next year where he fights. Him having only 2 fights left on his deal is very telling because it doesn't look like he's going to re-sign with the UFC, or he'd already do that already. Conor McGregor is the type of guy where, he'd sign back with the UFC in a heartbeat, but he knows that his career is starting to dwindle down right here. This could be his potential last fight in MMA. If he gets knocked out, that's a huge hit on his career. So he's looking at his options, and to me, I feel like Conor McGregor kind of wants to try maybe boxing, whether it's in bare knuckle or going overseas. He has a lot of options in terms of money still, because regardless of what you guys say, I know a lot of people are going to say, oh, he's drugged out, he's coked out, and things like that. Regardless, I feel like Conor McGregor is still the biggest name and biggest moneymaker in the sport. Now, let's go ahead and hear what BKFC owner had to say about this as well. He believes that Conor McGregor will be fighting in BKFC eventually.
About this, like serious about doing bare knuckle.
Yeah, I mean, look, let's start at the beginning. You said exactly what you said is true. The UFC doesn't need us. Like, they don't need us, right? We need a co-pro with them. They don't need a co-pro with us, which would be phenomenal. They're not going to do it, right? They're not going to do it. If they do Conor McGregor in anything, they don't have to do a co-pro with us. But that being said, I mean, unless he's the best salesman in the world, because the talks that we've had, he's like, I'm fighting here. Like, I'm like, yeah, okay. He's like, I'm fighting here. And then I go, well, why wouldn't you fight here? Because you have equity in the company. And if you fight here, you probably make more money here than anywhere else in the world because of what it's going to do for the company. So I truly believe what you said. I think 100% he fights here.
So I'm just going to go ahead and pause it right there. So BKFC owner, even him himself, he's even skeptical of Conor McGregor coming over and fighting in BKFC because it's like, it's a tough sport to go into. No gloves, you're getting cut up, busting up your face. Conor McGregor, to me, he's the type of guy where he's crazy enough to do something like that. So I wouldn't be shocked if he actually goes in there and fights under Bare Knuckle's banner. But to me, I feel like him buying Bare Knuckle is kind of setting up his end of the UFC. Essentially, he's going to be able to own a company on his own where he can put on massive fights. If he's able to get guys outside the UFC, he could put on some good fights. And then if he fights underneath that banner, that's going to make 1 million buys for BKFC, a company, most MMA companies will never hit that in terms of all their pay-per-views combined. But you're talking about Conor McGregor going in there, and that's going to be one of the biggest debuts, especially he's able to get a really good dancing partner. So I honestly wouldn't be shocked if he goes through this type of route. Maybe even does a boxing match in Saudi Arabia with Turkey Al Sheikh. So there's a lot of options for Conor McGregor. But I think the big reason why he's not going to fight, like I said, is due to this whole entire contract situation. And Dana White and the UFC know this. That's why, Dana White has been putting it off. He's been trying to delay the Chandler fight as much as possible. But even Michael Chandler is fed up. Michael Chandler went ahead and did that fight. I mean, did that tough season with Conor McGregor. And usually there's a fight sometime right after tough, there's usually a fight set up. But since Conor McGregor's quote unquote injury, I don't think that pinky toe was a big reason why he pulled out. I think it's still something to do with that contract, and that the pinky toe was just a convenient excuse for them to delay even talks further, because they're still trying to negotiate a contract with Conor McGregor. But as you guys can see, Michael Chandler is going to be fighting Charles Oliveira, and that's going to be a huge matchup. And that just tells me that even Chandler believes that Conor is not going to be fighting anytime soon. Now, Michael Chandler recently did an interview as well where he basically said that he has no ill will towards Conor McGregor, and that even after this fight, he's open to try and fight Conor McGregor. So he believes that Conor will eventually fight as well in the UFC, but it will probably be his last one. And I think that Conor McGregor's last fight will not be Michael Chandler. I honestly believe that he will fight maybe potentially someone like Dustin Poirier, something along those lines, because the UFC knows this is his last fight on his contract, and it's going to be huge. So let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Do you guys believe that Conor will fight again in the UFC, or do you guys believe that he'll fight even in general? Let me know. Please leave a like and subscribe, and I'll bring more great MMA content to this channel. So please subscribe to this channel, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.